Yo, I love this book. I love this series. You should read it. I love this series. You should read it. I love this series. You should read it. Hi wonderful people, and welcome back to my channel, Booklovers with et.al. What's up, what's the scene? I hope you're doing well. I am doing lovely. I am doing great. And you know, this channel is about romance books. I'm just talking about romance books. So you know what, so everyone who has, commented on my videos or who have subscribed to my channel, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Keep those comments coming because I just love it. I have been receiving a lot of recommendations and suggestions from my subscribers. So I definitely want to do a TBR list with some of these recommendations and read some of these books that you all have suggested for me to read, because let me tell you, these books sound so good. Like, I go up on Goodreads and I read the blurb about them, so I'm like, you know what, I need to read these books. I need to do a video about some of these books that my subscribers have recommended. So you know what, keep those books coming, keep those comments coming, and if you have not subscribed yet, you know what you need to do, subscribe, right? So today's video is a bit different. I've never done a video like this. I'm going to do like a sort of hits or miss videos. So it's basically about books that I've read recently and books that hit everything that I look for in a book, or whether it missed a few things that I like within that particular trope. So if this is something that you like, or if you want to know what books will hit or miss for me and why they will hit or miss for me, keep watching my videos, subscribe to my channel, and give this video a thumbs up. So the first book, it is a bit different. It is an anthology, and I've never done one of this on my channel, one of these collections of stories. This is something new. So this anthology is basically called The Reluctant Bride, and there are 12 stories within this anthology, and all of them are basically centered around a forced relationship or a forced marriage. Yes, some are definitely like an MC story, others are just like a contemporary, others are an age gap. So I really enjoyed the variety in The Reluctant Bride. It is written by Sam Crescent and others. So yeah, you just meet 12 different heroes, 12 different heroines, and each story is totally different, but it is all centered on a reluctant bride. Did I enjoy this? It was a miss for me and not a hit for me, and the reason why, it is because the stories were all so similar. So yes, there was like an MC one. It was okay. She was definitely forced to marry someone for protection. Someone was threatening her life and she was kidnapped. And in order to protect her, her dad decided for her to marry someone who is like more powerful than he is, or more powerful than their MC. So like, yeah, you had that story, and then you had one where this girl, in order to get out of a very terrible relationship, she went to different parts of the world and she was working, and her boss man was in need of a wife to be able to inherit the family businesses and so on. So she was forced to do that, otherwise he would have told her or shared her secrets and whatnot. So yeah, all of them were forced. I have no issues with a forced marriage. I love reading romances with a forced marriage, but with this anthology, it just didn't do it for me. Yes, the stories, all of them were like, steamy. There was like one steamy scene in each of the different stories. Basically, all of them could have been roughly like 80 to 100 pages, because the entire book is 700 and something pages. But yeah, I just rather read a full standalone or a series like I'm accustomed doing. Okay, next up, I read Secret Vow, written by Willow Fox, and this is a dark mafia arranged marriage romance. In this book, we meet Nicole and Dante. Now this mafia romance book was definitely different for me. Like, the story, the plot twist, I was totally not expecting. So Dante and Nicole, they meet at one of his establishments and they hook up the very first night. I thoroughly did not enjoy that aspect of it, but I kept reading the book. And I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes. And Nicole is the daughter of a mafia boss, and Dante, he is the boss of his mafia family. All right, but she didn't know that Dante was who he is, and he did not share that, but Dante knew exactly who she was. So her father is controlling her like 100%. She doesn't have a say. She went to college, she moved back home, and that was the worst decision that she could make. And when she decides, you know what, I've had it, I am going to run away, I can't do this anymore, in order to control her, and like literally her father was just like fed up, like he's had it, he just did not care anymore. He lets her be abducted by his human trafficking ring to be sold into sex slavery. No, that is so not typical in a mafia romance and how they treat their females. Normally they would treat the females within a mafia family by, you know, keeping them to marry them off to someone to help, you know, increase their wealth or increase their power. But in this one, that did not happen. Like, he sold his daughter, right? And then when Dante realized what was happening, he came in and he bought her. But I'm like, yo, this story, it is so different. The only downfall for me within this story, you did not get as much of the mafia aspect of it in terms of the crime, the gritty roughness, you know, that ruthless aspect of a mafia romance, like that really dark aspect that you get from it, the violence. You didn't really get that. That was the only downfall in terms of what I did not like within Secret Vow. But other than that, I enjoyed it so much because of that plot twist, like selling her into sex slavery. Yes, Dante did, like, you know, rescue her by buying her and whatnot. The story really centered on them and their connection, and I felt as though, hey, it was a bit one-sided, and to some point, like, Nicole was kind of annoying because it's like she couldn't grasp the full circle of what was happening. But yeah, was this a hit or miss? It was definitely a hit for me because of the plot twist. Like, I loved that aspect of the story. It was so unexpected. It was just unheard of for me. I've never read anything like that, and it was a pleasant surprise to read. All right, we have another mafia. Will this one be a hit or miss? Let us see. Keep listening. So we have Soul to the Enemy, and this one is written by Aria Blue. I've never read any book written by this author. So when I saw it, I'm like, oh, because, you know, I was just like feeling to read. I was in search of that one great mafia romance, because it's like I read some really good one, and of late I just wasn't getting what I wanted, right? You know, sometimes you just read some good ones, and then when you read others, it just does not stack up, and that is what was happening to me. So I was just like searching for one. So in Soul to the Enemy, we meet Luca and Nico. They are both from different crime family. Luna's family right now, at this point in time, they have lost all their power and wealth because of something that happened in the past. Luna and Nico, from a very young age, they were very close friends. They had like this instant connection. They have like this electrifying connection even from a young age. And then something happened, and then the two families were warring against each other, and Nico's family obviously prevailed. They were able to increase their wealth and power, and Luna's family, they just had to like literally run for their lives and was left without any type of influence or any type of backing. So fast forward years after, where they meet and they definitely reconnect, and things start going really nicely. Like, the chemistry is definitely there between them. And then in order to protect Luna's family and to protect her, Luca decides, you know what, I want to marry her and basically that is how she is sold to the enemy. This book is divided into like 2 parts. So you have part 1, which is the past, and then you have part 2, which is the present. I loved the past. The past, you are just absorbed into the story. It's like definitely a page turner. There's so much mystery and suspense, and it leaves you wanting to know, okay, what is going to happen? What is going to happen? What is going to happen? And then we get to the present, and I'm like, okay. And then I was like, okay, what is going on here? I definitely did not like that at all. Was this a hit or miss? This was definitely a miss for me. For others, they might like it, but I was just left so confused as to what was happening, and there was like gaps in between the story. It just did not flow as great from beginning to end. Up next, oh my gosh guys, it is another mafia romance. Like, but I must say that the ones that I have spoken about before, they are not as dark. So I know there are some people that cannot handle romances that are just too dark. If you like mafia romances and you don't like stories that are too dark, then you should definitely give those a try that I mentioned previously. This one, to me, it's like border, you know, it's dark but not too dark, but it's still dark, if you know what I mean. I don't know what I mean, but if you know what I mean. So in this one, it is called The Beautiful People, and it is book 1 in the new Mafia trilogy. It is written by E.J. Fechenda. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right, but you will see it on the cover of the book. But yes, in this book, we meet Natalie and Dominic. So Natalie, she wants to go to college, or she's in college, and she just needs to get a job just to make some extra money. And her brother gets her a job at this place named Crimson. There she meets a bartender named Dominic, and you know, she's really into Dominic, and he looks so cool and he seems so cool, and they have this great chemistry and connection, and she is slowly getting wrapped up into Dominic's world without knowing exactly who Dominic is, who his family is. And then one night it all comes to a screeching halt. Like, her brother did warn her. He was like, you know, her brother Grant warned her, don't get wrapped up in Dominic. But what did she do? She got wrapped up in Dominic, right? And everything comes to a screeching halt when she sees her brother murder people as well as Dominic. And she's like, what is going on? What is going on? Because one, she wasn't born into this lifestyle. She wasn't born into the mafia or anything like that. And then she discovers that Dominic is next in line to become the head of his mafia family. He is the prince of the Philadelphia mob. So it's like, yeah, he's working in the club in Crimson, but you know, all that is just like undercover stuff like that. And you just see how their relationship went from this, you know, innocent, sweet, you know, pub falling in love with Dominic, falling in love with this individual, only to see that coming towards the end, when everything blows up into her face, that Dominic is not who she thought he was. Again, this is a trilogy, so you have to read part 2 and part 3. But let me just say, I did, and I absolutely love this Mafia series. It is not, again, as dark as some of the Mafia books that I enjoy, but I absolutely love Dominic and Natalie, because eventually, like, she runs away because she cannot handle it, and then she is scared for her life because it's either you're in and you're out, and because she witnessed certain things. Oh my gosh, y'all, you need to read this one. Like, if you have not read this series, if you have not read this Mafia series, this trilogy, you should definitely give this a try. I absolutely love it. This is definitely a hit for me. Full stop. So we're switching gears now, right? So we're doing a shifter romance, and it is written by Elle, Goode, and the name of the book is The Wolf's Mail Order Bride. I was so excited to read this. I mentioned it on my May TBR, and it's part of the Mail Order Bride series. This book was a miss for me. Like, it had no saving grace. Now, normally I don't really talk bad about books, but The Wolf's Mail Order Bride. So in this book, we meet Cassie and Aidan. And Cassie, she has had bad luck with men. She came out from an abusive relationship and she just wants to get away. And then this takes place in modern times, mind you. This is present day. And she meets these people and she gets like this contract or opportunity to marry someone. She'll be getting a whole new family because she doesn't have much family. She'll be getting their protection and all of these things. There's so many benefits to marrying Aidan. However, unknown to her is that Aidan is a werewolf. So she goes there, like they meet at the airport and she goes to their land and they start talking to each other. And then things just start coming out. Now, this book is only like 100 and something pages. It is not very long. And I just thought there would be so much more story development. Like, everything was just rushed. There was no development of anything. It was just like, it was quick. Yeah, it was sexy. Yeah, everything just happened too fast. And I just did not enjoy that at all. The plot was okay, but first time ever I'm speechless. All right, next book. Yo, I love this book. I love this series. You should read it. I love this series. You should read it. I love this series. You should read it. This series is called Crashed and it is written by Nicole Williams. No, I love it. I love it. And it's not where you can just read book 1 and just put it down. No, you have to go to book 2 and book 3 like immediately. Like there's no stopping. There's no trying to read another book in between. No, there's none of that. You start from book 1, from Crash, and then you go on to the other parts in this series. I absolutely love Lucy and Jude. Love them. Love them. They come from different worlds. Completely different worlds. They meet in their final year of high school, like the summer before they start. They meet like while on the beach. Lucy is seeing Jude playing like football on the sand, on the beach, and she's just like really vibing him and really into him. And he's like, oh, you like what you see, huh? You like what you see. And he's like playing. He's like, I don't do girlfriends. I don't do relationship. I don't do dating. I don't do this. I don't do that. But if you're okay with that, we can definitely like hook up and like, be something, we can definitely hang out. And that is how the book begins. You're like, what? Where this guy come up from? Who does he think he is? But then as you read more and you get to discover more about Jude, your heart literally breaks for this guy in that he is living in a group home. His dad is in prison for murder or something like that. And he just had a really hard life with nothing going for him. He has a rap sheet, a long. He has been involved in so many negative things. And it's like, you know what, I'm probably just going to end up like my dad as well. And that is his mindset. And then he meets Lucy and he realized, you know what, maybe there's something more for me in life. And she's like, you know what, go try out for the football team, because she realizes he plays so well. He has like this phenomenal arm, and he tries out and he becomes a quarterback of their team and he gets a scholarship to college. He never thought he would go to college. And because of Lucy, his life does a 180. It changes so much. And Lucy's parents, they want her to have nothing to do with Jude, but they are also going through a lot because of the death of one of, I think, her sister or her brother or something like that. So their family is just dealing with death and grief because they lost someone very close to them. They lost a member of their family. And they have no time for Lucy. So Lucy's there on her own and she's very neglected and feels unloved. Listen, y'all, this book, Crash, you have to read it. And oh my gosh, when they get to college, so Lucy is very much into getting into Juilliard. She did get into Juilliard. She is a ballerina. She's training to do all these things. And when she gets there, it's all about, okay, can they survive? Because they are going to different colleges, hours apart, and Jude just does so much for this girl, does so much to try to make the relationship work. You need to read this book. This is definitely a young adult, new adult, because it takes them from high school until they graduate from college. Oh my gosh, you are going to love it. If you're one that loves a happily ever after, you're definitely going to get this. If you like books with emotional drama, if you like books where there's so much twists and turns, and there's, oh my gosh, there's nothing. I just love this book. It's fascinating, it's captivating, it is addictive. This book is a hit. It is a hit. Definitely read it. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like me to do another one of this video, definitely comment down below and give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed this hit or miss, if there are books that I hit that you missed, comment down below. If there are books that I missed and you hit because you loved it, comment down below and let me know, because I enjoyed doing this. So thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, make sure and hit that notification bell so you would know when I post, and look out until I post another video. Bye.